All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming through here. Brenda, all the way from Carlton. Yeah. I wonder how many people know Carlton. But anyway, just outside Joburg, right?
Yeah.
80 Ks.
80 Ks from Rose, like 70 kilometers from CBD.
From CBD?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for making time. I'm Rosh, Anto, and Dr. Lucas Moloi. So basically what this is about is let's sit down, let's have a conversation about your business. So the Vuka board started in 2012.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've been having sessions with entrepreneurs, getting to understand their businesses, getting to understand what challenges they experience in their businesses, and then we can see how we can advise. The idea is not to try and impress us. That's not the idea. The idea is to sort of open up about, where the challenges are, so that we are then able to assist where we can. So I'm more focusing from the numbers. I know it's not a favorite topic, but yeah. Anto is more from marketing, business development, tech space as well. And then Dr. Mlo is more from the operations, quality management, strategy expert. So yeah, feel free. We're not here to catch you out. We're just having a discussion, and yeah, we have failed before, we have blundered before, we have made
colossally.
Yeah, so we kind of have a sense of what this is about.
Yeah.
So the agenda basically it's conversational. So you start, sort of give us a background of yourself, your entrepreneurial journey, and tell us about the business. When did you start it? What are the highlights of the business, and what are the challenges of the business? And then we'll then discuss. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for having me. Thank you for taking time to see me. I'm Brenda. I started. Number one, let me start off by saying I'm in the aviation sector and I love it. I started my flying career in high school. I think I was 17 when I started being a student pilot, learning how to fly and all that. I was in matric, 17 years old. And from there, after matric, because after flying a couple of few hours, I got my SPL, which is a student pilot's license. I couldn't afford the flying anymore. I went to university. I did mining engineering for like a year. I hated it because it was everything opposite of flying, underground, all that. So I'm like, no, I'm going to go back to my passion. And I worked for Standard Bank trying to gather some funds. And I started flying part-time. And while I was flying part-time, I met someone who was already a pilot. And he's like, no, you can approach TITA and CAA for sponsorships. And I did that, and I got sponsored by TITA. I got my private pilot license, and then from there, I worked towards my commercial license. I got that as well, and after that, I was happy. I moved to Swaziland. I worked and partnered with a school. It was called Swaziland Aeronautical Academy. It's still operational. They have a branch here in Rand Airport and one in Swaziland Matapa Airport as well. So we're still partners to this day. However, when COVID hit, everything was dry. We couldn't do your instructing because there was all that distancing and all that, the rules. So I thought, no, because I still love aviation, let me try remote piloting. So I went into drones. I got my qualification in flying drones, and I thought, okay, this is it. I'm gonna fly drones. I'm gonna offer some services using drones. But then I still wanted to get the people out there involved. But it's very expensive. So I'm like, okay, no, I'll stop being a professional pilot and then just champion this whole thing and get the women involved. So I started my own company, which was called LynkD. I'm linking all the problems to their solutions. So from there, I started training student pilots with drones and manned aircrafts, your Charlie 172s, those are your 4-seaters. And yeah, business was doing well in the beginning, and then it started subsiding, but I'm like, no, this is a passion. And we approached a few people, and amongst those few people, I met Miss K. She gave me a chance. She's like, no, you can partner with my NGO, and we can get you funding via the NGO, right? We would apply with your seaters, and they would sponsor the project. So we basically targeted women between the ages of 18 to 35 in South Africa, the marginalized, especially Black women of color. So they can be colored, Indian, as long as they are marginalized, we took them in. And we also did youth. So from there, I saw, okay, just doing this project, it does not give in the income that we need. And then I decided, okay, let's do crop spraying, which is agriculture. We use the drones to do crop spraying. And then we also do events where we do videographies and cinematography. We use drones doing that. And yeah, I think that's basically it. I would like to go into surveying because, yeah, there's a lot of mine surveying and construction coming along, and you can impart drones in that. But yeah, for now, just waiting. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. So you are qualified
Commercial pilot.
You have got those
3 bars.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes.
So why not fly? I mean, I know there's my understanding is there's very few.
I fly recreationally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a hobby. I still love it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I feel like I have a bigger purpose. Because when I would go home and my mom would be like, no, she's a pilot. People would be like, pilot. I'm like, what kind of pilot is there? So our people especially, are still very strange to the topic. So I'm like, I want to bring this to the people. I want the people to get involved, right? That's why I'm like, I'm not going to pursue my previous dream of becoming a commercial professional pilot. Rather, I want to teach people and bring them in my community. Because I think in Carltonville, you can barely, I think you can count the pilots with one hand. So I'm like, I don't want that. I want everybody involved, and I want people to know about the opportunities. That's why I started my company. Okay. For me, it's not about the money, really.
Sort of plot this on a timeline. When is this happening? When did you qualify? When did you start the business?
Yes, I got my commercial pilot's license in 2018. And then from there, I started working with Swaziland, and I did instructing there, your student pilots for manned aircrafts. And then when COVID hit, I moved back to South Africa to be closer to home, and then we did the drones. And yeah, 2020. This is around 2020. And yeah, so we did drone flying, and then the drone technology course started in 2023, which was last year. Our first pilot was in end of April, beginning of May. So our first cohort, it was in Kimberley. And we trained a group of ladies. There were like 20 ladies. And yeah, so we helped them do the course. And then after the course, we got them into companies that deal with drones. So we got them internships and placed them there. So from there, the ladies would decide if they wanted to be employed or self-employed. This is where the BDM course comes in. For the last 2 days of the course, we have a business model canvas that we talk the students through to prep them in case they wanted to start their own businesses as well.
So, okay. So how does it work? I mean, they come to your course, they do the drone
Yes, so we train them theoretically and practically. So we cover subjects such as your air law, your principles of flight, your human performance, all that is covered when obtaining your commercial license. We do that, we cover the subjects, and then once they are done, they would write like 3 mid-assessments to just check their knowledge, and then at the end, 1 final exam. When they pass the exam, they do their practical as well. They get to fly the drones practically. And then at the end, they all get tested. If we find exceptional people who are really interested in becoming pilots, like RPL pilots, then we would take them and get them their licenses with CAA. So we would have to find a sponsor. Usually we work with the German companies. They are very open to funding. They funded 2 cohorts already, and the 3rd cohort was funded by Innovator. I think I mentioned it earlier. So we get those people because the initial license costs about 25,000 to 30,000. So the students cannot.
This is drone flying.
Drone flying, yes, not manned aircraft.
Yeah.
So the drone, manned ones is way more expensive than that. Yes. So drone flying, the initial license costs about 25,000, which the students cannot afford. So we would find a sponsor through the NGO, and then we bring in the sponsor. They see the progress of the students, and then let's say we select the top 10 or 15, whichever we are happy with, and then we give them the licenses. They do the training and get approved by the CAA.
Okay. And then there's the business arm to it.
Yes, the business arm.
So when they are done, they will have the technical, well, obviously the theoretical
and
practical and business.
Yes. So other ladies, when we take them in, they would say, no, I already have a business. I do events management, for example. And they would say, I would like to incorporate drones in my business. Let's say, click a few pictures using the drones. We've already prepped them for that. So that's where they go from there. Others would just be like, no, I'm good working an honest 9-to-5 job, but I would like to be an RPL pilot. So we would put them in companies that do your land surveying using drones and all that, or mine surveying, agricultural purposes as well. And then we place them in those companies, and then they become just your normal RPL pilots operating the drones.
So for a lot of people, this is still fairly new, right?
Yes.
Or, what opportunities once they have done with your course and they've got the papers, what can they do?
Anything. Absolutely anything. Because like I said, we have your agricultural pursuits where you can do your crop spraying. You can do your events where you can do your cinematography. You can click a few pictures if you like. And your surveying, you can basically incorporate drones and everything, because right now we have drones that are being programmed to do delivery. So a lot of people can use that in their business. I mean, businesses work with deliveries all day, every day, right? But the hurdle that we are just trying to get over right now at the moment is CAA. They're trying to regulate the laws because you cannot have 1,000 drones flying. So they are trying to figure out how they can place drones safely within our environment and get the people.
I actually once did a strategy facilitation for them, and the rule is anything that goes in there needs to be regulated.
Yes, definitely. That's why they need licenses.
The guy was making a joke, like he was at the airport. He was going, at the airport, local domestic flights, right? So as you go to the security check-in, there's these guys who are selling toys. Yeah. And he sells like a toy that, right?
I was just around.
Yeah, and he was like, that's not allowed. Actually, anything that flies, even if it's a toy that flies,
We're
That's
gonna need to get license for flying the kite.
Flying a kite.
but you can't.
License to fly my kite.
If you have your own property, you can fly it over your property.
Yeah.
But up to, let's say, 30 meters if you don't have a license,
Yeah.
up to 30 meters high. Because after that, you interfere with your manned aircrafts, right?
So
when we're doing low-level flying with big aircrafts, and then your drone is just there, it becomes a problem also.
So do the guys who do hot air ballooning, they also need to have a
Yes.
Yes.
So they go through.
Yes.
But that has been there.
Yeah.
Because a hot balloon pilot is a pilot. It's
Yes,
another.
it's a pilot, yeah.
It's a pilot.
So do they have to go through what you go through, or
They
not,
do.
not at that level?
They obviously it's a bit more simpler.
Yeah.
But they do have hurdles. They also have to get
So
over.
let's talk about the business. I mean, I understand the product. Let's talk about the business.
Yes.
How has the business been going? How many trainings have you done? How many graduates have passed through you?
So, like I said, we started operating last year, April, May. That was our first cohort. It was in Kimberley. 20 to 25 ladies.
Last year.
Yes, last year. And then later on, we did Richards Bay, which is in KZN. We did, I think it was 28 or 30 ladies there. So, from there, we went to UNISA and we got 20 ladies as well. So, thus far, I have done 3 cohorts.
How long does the course take?
It takes, for the introduction part, it takes 2 weeks, right? So you attend class from 9 and until 3:30 to 4 every day for the first 2 weeks. And then after that, you get your certificate, your theoretical certificate and your practical certificate, right? From there, if you feel no, I need a license because I'm definitely going to use drones in my business, or I want to become a drone pilot, we enroll you we work with Untu Aviation. They do the drone licenses. So we partnered with them, and then they would organize with the CAA when the learners would need to go write the theoretical examination with CAA. And also they organize a testing officer to come test the students for their practicals again. From there, that's when the students would need the 25,000.
How long is that process?
It depends with every individual. Because we took a large number of ladies, it would take around 2 months, right? But if you're an individual and your progress is okay, I got mine in 3 days. I got my license in 3 days. So that's, you understand? So, but if it's a large group, they need to make sure that everybody understands their theory so that when they go, they don't have to rewrite their exam. They all pass. And if they are on par, then they set up a date for them to go write at the CAA. Like I said, with bigger groups, it took 2 to 3 months. And then after that, they get their licenses.
So the 2 to 3 months, does it include the 2 weeks theory?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So let's conservatively say 3 months.
Yes.
For a
Say
group
3
of
months.
what, 20?
20, 30, yes.
And the reason why is because you are only using the one.
Yes, we just use...
So you channel all of them too?
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't so owned by Peter?
Sam Twala.
Okay.
Okay. So you have done 3 cohorts?
Yes.
So
3
far?
cohorts so far.
Okay. And I mean, you can go anywhere.
I go anywhere. I target, like I said, I target remote areas where I see there's a need, right? At the moment, I'm looking at Africa Tikkun. I don't know if you guys you know about it. Yeah. I went there and I met the students, and they're very bright, and some of them were actually interested in becoming drone pilots. So that's how I find my people. So I went to them and I got to meet all of the students there that they had. Some of them already have that business. I mean, we're talking about like your 18-year-olds, your 19-year-olds, but they already have businesses already. But they want to incorporate drones in them, but they don't have the means to actually pay. So that's how I actually choose my people.
Who in LynkD? Who does what?
I do everything. I know it sounds impossible, but I do everything. I think that is where my downfall is.
It's a superpower.
No. It's a very big weakness. I need to delegate. But to delegate, you need money, right? You need money so you can delegate and pay people. But because I can't pay people, I mean, I do the instructing myself even.
Yeah.
From organizing everything to the classes, to doing the class, I do all of that. And then I would hire out for every cohort that I would be training. I hire out 2 to 3 consultants, and then they help me because I have one who helps me with video stitching. He's a great camera guy, and he helps the students. After I take footage using the drones with the students, he would help them in class, teach them how to edit and put everything all together to create a short story. So I have him, and then I also included.
That's outsourced, right?
Yes, it's outsourced. And I have a second guy who does 3D printing and coding as well, because I've also included them. And I started with the UNISA cohort because I mean they were graduates. I needed something challenging, so I included coding and 3D printing. The aim for this is I want to broaden the spectrum. I want to include drone production as well, because in South Africa, all our drones are outsourced. They come from China. You understand? We don't have a manufacturer here. So that's where I'm going. So they get to 3D print whatever part impresses them in a drone, and they get to code their own drones as well. We don't use coding languages like your HTML. We use drone blocks because it's already simplified. Okay. Instead of having a student to start learning HTML, CSS, I mean, that is too difficult. So we use drone blocks, and they program their own drones.
All right. Yeah, it's still a superpower.
Thank you.
Because that's where we all start, right?
Yes.
We all start there. We don't have a budget to pay anyone. We do everything ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think before I hand over to just one question. So what are you sort of trying to build here? Are you building a school that is going to teach drone flying? Or are you trying to sort of see if you can't have a consultancy that does work for farmers? They want to have someone, does their spray, whatever, and they come to you, and then you scope the work, and then you code to them, they pay you, and you do that. So where would you want? I mean, what I'm basically asking you is, are you teaching doctors to qualify to be doctors, or are you also going to try and practice as a doctor? Where would you want to go?
Honestly, practicing as a doctor would just be me covering my bills.
Okay.
That is why I'm becoming a doctor, to cover the bills. But ideally, I would just run the academy.
Is that what you want to
do? Yes. Where, I mean, like I said, I want to broaden the spectrum where we can manufacture our own drones. Yeah. So by me teaching the students how to operate a drone, that's where it all starts. Once they know how the drone works, they have a better idea of what to improve on the drones when designing their own drones, when programming their own drones. That's where I'm headed, our own production.
Okay.
Yes.
What are the challenges what are the challenges in the business?
Funding.
Okay.
That's the biggest challenge. And number 2, getting funding for the company itself, where I can actually get the right personnel, let's say for administrative purposes, or the finance department. You understand all that the people that are going to structure the company, help structure the company. that's where I'm struggling a bit. But after that, I think, with as far as the teaching goes, you can never have there's always students. We will always have the students, right? So the target market is awfully broad. And I think
The
drones, yes. That's why I said funding, because equipment also, we'll always need equipment. For instance, when I started, I used the less challenging drones. They were like, they are called your small drones, your nano small drones.
Your game drones.
Yes. So the students would use those. They cost around 2,000 to 2,500 per drone, right? So I would buy like 10 and then have the first half using that, and then the second half would use after the first ones are done. But then the problem with them is that you could use them on like 3 cycles. After that, their propellers are broken, all that, so you would need to replace them. And then I moved on to the more progressive drones, which are your Mavics. Those ones, they last for years, so you don't have to replace them as much, but they cost a lot more, like around your 30,000 to 90,000. You understand? But I feel that is much more efficient. You just have to replace the battery every let's say 45 minutes.
Okay. So the challenge is the budget.
Yes, the budget money for the equipment. I mean, right now it's good. Okay, I need the infrastructure, but for the moment, because I go to the people, I don't necessarily need the structure, because wherever I go, I would hire out a computer lab there, and then we train the students there.
Okay. It's your moment to now present to us the video.
Oh, the video.
Yes.
So, all right. So this was the first cohort, right? And when we did this one, we hadn't yet included your coding and your 3D printing. But yeah, you can see the video. I'll just do this and let me just start it there. So all this is captured using a drone. We would drive and then have the drone following us while we drive it.
Where was this?
This was in Kimberley, yes.
Yes,
Is it?
My name is Brenda Tsele, and I'm your facilitator throughout the program. This is a very exciting program as we'll be bridging both the gender and social divide. How? We selected a group of 25 ladies who will undergo an introduction into droning technology.
So these are the drones.
Yes, those were the small ones, yes.
Okay. So these are the ones that you bought.
Yes, the 2,500 ones.
So this was the first cohort.
The first cohort, yes.
Okay. So they all graduate.
Yeah, some of them are graduates and unemployed youth. Yeah, they were all between 18 to 35.
And the workshop was for 2 weeks.
Yes, this was for 2 weeks.
Whole day.
Yes, 9 to 3:30, 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where each of them will receive a participation certificate on course. And after that, we will see
Okay.
You can pause this.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. It sounds like a huge opportunity.
Could be.
But I think, qualifying as a pilot by itself is not an easy feat.
It's not.
I was looking at the stats. A friend of mine was graduating early this year. I was looking at the stats. There's like less than 5% of black female pilots in the country. For a number of reasons. It's expensive, whatever. So, yeah. Well
And there are unspoken truths behind that as well.
Yeah.
Lots of gatekeeping.
Yeah. No. That apparently, Apparently. It's still white, male-dominated space.
Yes, definitely.
And it's a space that is capital intensive as well. To qualify, you spend so much money. Just
Yes.
25,000 for flying a drone.
Yes.
You know, like wow, okay.
We spend like 400,000.
Yeah. So it's
commercial.
but yeah, congratulations on that. So
Thank you.
yeah, there's something there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not even going to touch on marketing because for me, what is missing is a profitable, sustainable business model.
Yes.
I'm not getting that from you, right? So I think I'd like us to spend some time.
Yes.
And how do we get this to be profitable and sustainable? Because right now you're dabbling in other stuff in order to sustain this.
True.
And that shouldn't be the case. So in your 3 cohorts that you've hosted, who paid for that?
Vuka paid for the first 2 cohorts, and then the last one we got in LynkD. They actually got their funding from the government. So the government, I think, took out 10 million, and they said, no, if you train ladies, blah, blah. And then they approached me. They're like, okay, you're doing consulting in this. Can you do this? Train, let's say, they gave me 20 ladies. Train 20 ladies for us, and then we'll do this. We'll pay for them.
Okay.
Yes.
And both those sponsors, the relationship hasn't continued?
It's still continuing right now, but I feel like because I had partnered with A4IR, I don't want there to be conflict. You understand? If I walk away with sponsored that I had with the A4IR company, and they are left with nothing, I feel like it's going to be
An issue of integrity.
Yes, of integrity.
Right?
Yes,
Which is good.
Yes,
So are they still existing?
they are, but I mean, this only runs because of me. I'm the one who runs this program.
Okay, so
right?
why wouldn't you continue your partnership with them?
Because we all have our values, right? And I got drawn to A4IR by Miss K.
Okay.
She has values aligned with mine. When you work with people, you have to see what motivates them to do what they're doing. If you guys are not aligned, it's not going to work out. So if I'm doing something to help people and you come with your own motives, it's not going to work. The partnership is not going to.
So there's a misalignment of values.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
So they don't run the company the same way Miss K did.
Okay.
You understand?
So that obviously means then if there's no alignment in terms of values, then you have to step away.
Exactly.
However, before you do, have you got a list of new sponsors that you're speaking to?
Right now, I've been speaking to GEP. And we currently going through my application process. I have actually applied for 250. This is just for the droning equipment. So it's not concluded yet. It's promising, but it's still there. So there, I'm sorted. And then I also thought, okay, with your computers and all that, I can still hire out. When I go for a particular training, I can still hire out. I don't necessarily need to get a room full of computers. I can just hire out like I usually do. Sometimes, for companies such as Africa Labs, they already have furnished rooms with computers, right? Because I'd be offering it to them for free. I would also need to approach, let's say, TITA, so they can sponsor the learners for their licenses. So another sponsor that I have lined up is TITA. And CAA.
Have you spoken to them?
TITA, yes, I have a contact there that I'm currently speaking to. CAA, that's where the problem is. I have someone I'm speaking to, but it's not that deep yet. But I have someone I'm currently speaking to.
So what we see with a lot of founders is they start dabbling in other things and start making plans to do something else because the one thing that they really enjoy doing is not yielding the financial results that they need, right? And so I think in your case, you're doing that because obviously it's the cohorts have, and the the program that you've set up is not yielding the financial results that you want. But I think that is because you're not paying enough attention to it. You're talking about one sponsor.
Agree. Yes,
one sponsor.
I definitely agree.
Right, let me finish.
Yes.
Let me finish. So I think you have to, if you are serious about this being an academy, then it needs to be an academy. Then moving into manufacturing makes no sense to me because it's mutually exclusive, right? I don't know if it is the case, but I can't see Mercedes-Benz teaching engineers to manufacture cars. Mercedes-Benz focuses on manufacturing cars, right? The African Leadership University, Harvard University, is not, again, back to the point, do you want to be the doctor or do you want to, right? And so I think that you have, or you're spending your energy on activities that will wear you out at some point, simply because you're not spending enough time on your core business. I expected you to give me a list of 10 or 20 sponsors that are sitting with your proposal right now, but you've given me one, which means that you're not spending enough time on the academy, right? And to make it work, you've had 3 cohorts, successful cohorts. You have skin in the game. That's enough for you to be sitting across from sponsors. And for them to be able to come on board and fund additional cohorts for this year, right? In my view, and my question to you is, have you completed the BMC? Because if you had completed the BMC for yourself, then you should have a profitable, sustainable business model in the academy, right? Just as the academy itself. But I get a sense from you that you're a bit all over the place because you don't feel that where your passion lies is yielding you the results that you want, right? So I think I would love to see a bit more of a focus from you when it comes to the academy.
Yes.
And I think the question for me then is the business model canvas that you, for your business, what does it say in terms of revenue generation?
And tied to that would be, you mentioned that funding is an issue. Do you have a pitch deck?
Yes, I have written up a few proposals that I've sent out, and I that's where I need the help with. I don't know why they are not taking. You understand? Yeah. But I have sent out a few proposals with everything, like the financial breakdowns that I would need. That I would need this amount of money to run one cohort.
Now let's get to that. Here is the thing. I don't have a problem with you saying, I want to train people and I want to run a consultancy. All right? So if you say, I'm going to train drone pilots, but after that, I'm as well going to be going to open up a drone consultancy, and that way people can hire a drone with a pilot to come and do a certain job. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. There's a lot of opportunity that's sitting here. But I want us to go back and fix this issue of why are they not taking. So let's first see how many students are in a cohort, the 3 ones that you've had.
The first one I had around 25 to 28, between 25 and 28. The second one I had 30. Yeah. And then the third one, it was 20 ladies.
Okay. So, give or take, we averaging 25 and that. So we say in those cohorts, you've had 75 people trained. You've got 75 potential pilots that are sitting there. If we go back and say how many of them are working in that space or doing business in that space, would you know?
I have a report from the first 2 cohorts. I can have that sent to you.
So that's very important because when you go and speak with the funder, that's what the funder wants to hear.
Yes.
But now we have to go and say, if I go and speak to the funder, why would the funder want to fund this? What's in it for a funder?
Yes.
And that's why they're not biting, right? So, number one, you are yourself a beneficiary of TITA, right?
Yes.
Now, TITA funds projects in only one way, right? Or two ways: special projects and discretionary. Okay, so it will be DGs and it will be special. Okay, I don't want you to be speaking to any contact, because the minute you speak with contact, you're starting to waste your time, because you're speaking to someone who makes promises that they will never be able to keep, right? So I want you to go and look, what is the DG process at TITA, right? So every year, I know the DG at TITA probably closed in August, if I remember that, right? So every year, they will open 2 funding windows and say, we open for DGs, right? Then you write your proposal. They've got a template of how a proposal, what they want in their proposal. You stick to the template, and then they're not really worried about lots of presentations, and that they worried about, did we follow what they are saying? Is it the number of learners that they can fund? Is it the program that they have in their critical skill set? And then they would look at things like, are they from the areas that they want to talk to, right? By the look of things, you have not been in Joburg. You've went outside Joburg, which is likely at areas that TITA wants to get into. Rural young people and that. So those are right. So speaking to someone is wasting your time. At this moment, we've got 40 now sitters in the country and that. And drone technology can go in any of those sitters, right? Sitters. So TITA, for those that are going to be generally in the transporting industry in that. But you're talking about the ones that are using for crop spraying. Who should we be talking to? Agri-SITA.
Yes.
So there should be an application that went to Agri-SITA for DGs. We have got a space that is very big in drones. South Africa hasn't looked at it much, but parameter monitoring. Security.
Definitely,
right?
yes.
So using drones for security. So if you look at Gulf estates, private estates, and that, we need to start looking at drone pilots. So what do you need to do? To go to security companies and say to a security company, listen, Mr. Security Company, I would like to train about 10 of your security guards so that in your services you can start offering parameter monitoring with drones. I can train 10 for you at 40,000 a guard, and that particular security company can claim that money from their mandatory grants at their own SITA, right? It's money that they can claim back. So you just go, you come, you don't have to now go to the SITA, their SITA, to go and ask for funding. You come to him, you give him that, he claims that money from his SITA because it is for development of security guards, right? That's one avenue already, you have done that. And then also, those are services that you can start giving. If you have got so many in that, and you go knock at this estate and that, or you go knock at security companies themselves and you say, can I partner with you? I bring drones with pilots. You're a security company. You and me are giving monitoring such as that. In events, parameter monitoring and that, I bring in drones. It's a service that you can give as a security company, right? So you are able to start making money. So I just want to touch on a few things so you can see where your money is in this space. There is one thing that you are doing. So the name of the company is Drone Divas, right?
The name of my company is LynkD.
LynkD, okay.
Yes.
So Drone Divas is just a program.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I like that your name is not Drone Divas. I have a problem with this. there has been this particular drive in this country from 2005. Take a girl child to work, do this for the girl child, do that. And I understand the nobility of that program because of where the country was coming from. But what have we done as a country? We have trained a girl child, and the girl child is flourishing and flying, and the boy child is left at the shops in the township. Now, your girl child does not have a partner that is going to be a life partner because that now they're killing them because they are unable to relate to them. They've left them too far behind, right? Now, the minute you are saying, I am training only black females, you are immediately closing the market out. Because now you are no longer training black kids to be drone pilots. You are now training black girls. What happens to the boys? That could be your other market. So as a company, there is no need for you to exclude a certain group. You can be able to count your stats and say, we have trained so many young black females, but without excluding the other part of the market, right? Yes. That's what I want you to start looking at.
I target women and youth. So the youth include both male and female.
That's perfect. So for me, that's very important to make sure that you are not close to any sector and go out. You are not having a problem of getting students. Students are there. Right, students are there. But your funders want also to know that the students that you are talking about is the student that the funders want to talk about, right? So going to schools and starting to doing career expos into drone flying, it's going to open you to some other space as well, right? Why are you specifically sending your learners to Ntsu for license? Why haven't you started the process of being your licensing as well?
Because number one, it's very expensive. So for me, it's much more affordable when I can just bring in the students and then I just have to get that 25 that Ntsu requires.
Yeah.
And then, I get that 25 for them and then Ntsu trains them. Whereas if I had to do it myself, I would have to spend around, let's say, north of 200,000 to get my ATO certificate, which is what would give me the right to issue licenses.
You see, for me, instead of setting your eyesight to manufacturing drones one day, I'll be setting my eyesight to getting my ATO.
Yes.
Because what you want to do is, because imagine how much money you are giving out. The bulk of that money that comes from a funder goes to them.
Yes.
Right? And that's the money that should be coming to you. So start having a look at that, right?
Question regarding that.
Yeah.
I did, I have thought about that. And I was wondering, would it be more beneficial for me to rather get my own ATO from scratch, where I would have to be inspected and all that by the CAA, or just partner with an existing ATO? For example, the school I was talking about that I partnered with, the Swaziland one, they don't have a drone training sector at the moment. So would it be viable for me if I were to say, okay, we will have 50-50 profit sharing, I will keep my company, you can keep yours?
So it becomes to this. It becomes, when you go into a partnership like that, the first question to ask is that, what is their value add, right? So if I'm going to run around, get people, write proposals, get the student, enroll students, do the training and everything, and you bring me your ATO and that, is that certificate worth the 50%, right? So you're gonna have to be able to value that. To say a person that comes with a certificate, what is the value of that certificate in what I do, right? There is nothing wrong with partnering. That partnering has got to be very clear as glass when it comes to the SLA that we sign between ourselves, right? But the most important thing for me, create your own relationships, right? So forget relationships through so and so and so. Create your own relationships. Get out there. Go knock at Tita. Go meet when you go there, go meet the sector manager of aviation. I know in the previously it was, the last time I spoke with them was Bongile, it was a very long time ago. But go there and sit down and say, what is your focus when it comes to drones? What's your focus? What do you need in that space? How do I play in that space? Go out of there. Go to AgriSita. Go knock at the door and sit down and say, on crop management and such, who is the manager of that sector? And go ask and say, what do you need? What's the focus on drones and that? Move out from that and go to the security SITA and speak to them there as well. So what is happening is that many of the SITAs have got money that is spent on skills that are not particularly for that sector, but which the people in that sector could be able to be reskilled on, right? MQA, the Mining Qualification Authority, the mining SITA and that, go to the MQA. Because there is also, you understand, the opportunity. So I would say to you, I would go down and write all the SITA names and that, and I would go down and say to the SITAs and say, I do drone training and that, and I would like to just hear from you as the manager here, the SITA in your sector, to say, how can we incorporate drones in what you do? What is your focus where this is involved in that, and where can we play in? It is when you go and do that where people will give you guidance to say, look, we've got discretionary grants and that, we could get into that, and as we are going to do that, we think you can be. The tourism SITA, drones play a big part in there. So at this moment, 5 SITAs that I've counted are relevant. It's not SITAs that you go to because, no, it's SITAs that are relevant that would use drones in the coming future in there. They haven't trained people, and that's where you should start talking in around there. The other thing, find people to help you maximize your time.
Yes.
Okay. Because you are organizing learners, training, advertising, writing proposals, things are not getting done.
Yes.
So things are not happening, not because you don't want to do them, things are not happening because you don't have enough time. By the time you have got a 3-week course, you are in class, and for 3 weeks, you can't write a proposal, you can't have a meeting, you can't do anything, right? So be in a space where you sit, and even if you have to bring people in and talk about equity and be clear that, look, I am going to give you equity in the next coming 3 months, but in order for you to get that equity, these are the deliverables that I'm expecting from you and that. Let's sign the SLA and that, and then you keep to that. And if in 3 months the deliverables are not there, let's shake hands. Thank you very much. It didn't work out. And then but have people like that so that people come in and work to build the organization. And when they have built it, they can benefit from it. But trying to build it on your own and that, especially when it involves being in class and training people, it's the most difficult thing to be in class and still run that organization, right? So we need to start looking at that. And also, find someone to come and train.
Yes.
So that, and agree on an amount to a person to say, you know what, per learner, I'll give you only this much. You are not employed by me. You are coming in as a consultant so that you are not, pinned down in a class for 2 weeks. Because a lot happens in 2 weeks, and you being in class, you are not utilizing the time wisely for an entrepreneur. Yes. So never be in class. It's not a space for you to be in, right? So for me, if you can do that, those are the things that are important. So I think for me, really, Roger, at this stage is that the next meeting, what I would expect is to say, I have got, because you don't want mandatory grants. You want DGs. For me to sit down and say, the DGs for this SETA closing date is that, DG for this SETA closing date is that, and on those, I have started my writing my proposals according to that. If you submit your proposal to 10 SETAs and you get 2 approving your proposal, and that you've got at least 3 million rand turnover for that year. That's what I want to see, right? And start talking about training from, start when you talk about training for me, talk 2 cohorts for every SETA. You understand? So let's talk 60 learners going up. I'll say from 60 to 100, those are the learners that you give in your proposal and that. With the SETAs and that, go in and see. The SETAs have got a particular budget per each learner. So you'd find most SETAs saying, per learner, we're giving 60,000. So you sit and you say, my license is going to be 40,000, but those learners are coming there for the next coming 2 weeks, and that I have to cater lunch for them and that. So so work on that costing, because that costing, it's what makes the SETA take. If your costing is not right, they are not going to fund your program. So put everything in, put everything as your catering and everything for those learners for the period that they are there with you, and that if it includes also buying of a drone for them, include in that. If the drone it's a 10,000 drone, and that you put it in there because that's what they want. So the person comes, does training with their drone of 10,000 rand that they got from me, and after the training, they taking the drone of 10,000 with. Meaning they've got equipment to be able to start their own business when they leave. So when you speak to the SETA, you're talking about skills development and an opportunity for that person to start a business, and they will take.
If I may just...
I'm already doing that. That's the thing. That's where the problem is.
Yeah.
I hear you, and it's very great advice, which I'm 100% grateful for. And all those breakdowns I have done.
Yeah.
The drone to take with, sometimes I will put them in. Sometimes I used it with the German company. That was the only company that took to it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, we can only pay for, let's say, 5 students to get their own drones.
Yeah.
They have done that.
Yeah.
When I approached the government, I mean...
But you see, that's what I'm saying. The problem is that when you approach the right... Approach the right agency of the government. All right. When you approach the SETAs, I can guarantee you now, they will buy it.
Okay.
So if you have done your DGs in the last year, if you did your DGs this in June last year, I'll be telling you now that at this moment now, you'll be receiving your appointment letter for that. Remember how the SETAs work then also. So when they're asking now for the proposals, they will probably close by June.
Yes.
And then they will start their process of assessing those, and they will give you only your application letter between November and February. That's the only time they're going to give you your letter. And then you will then be starting training in April. So understand that. So when you do your proposal to the SETAs, especially for the DGs, it's not an immediate thing. So you must allow it 8 months and everything and that, but you need to make sure that those are in. And throughout all the SETAs, look at what their actual template looks like, look at their critical skills, and match your drone training to those critical skills. You've already said 3D. We also did 3D printing and those.
Because you're in operations and all that.
Yeah.
Because I've added coding and 3D.
Yeah.
My program is now unique to every other program that has already been established.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot go the normal route of getting the theoretical licenses because I've included new things.
Yeah.
So I'm currently on phase B of my application with regards to getting it accredited.
Yeah.
So it's going to be level 6 and QF level 6. And phase A was done. Phase B is not a problem.
Yeah.
They are asking for your moderators and all
Moderator.
that. And
So here is the thing. When you are going the DG route, and the reason that I'm specifically saying the DG route instead of the mandatory and that is because with the DG and that, it does not have to be accredited, right?
Yes.
Because they are getting they would get a license at the end of the day from an accredited provider with CAA, right? So that then qualifies it. So they don't sit and look at a program if it's an accredited program. You are partnering with an accredited program, and they do get a license for it. So it would be but what it would then do also is that your program will get an advantage because you have gone beyond. You are giving other programs that can create also job opportunities for them. And it opens you to be able to go to MICT SETA as well, because they are the ones of IT and that. So you understand? So it has broadened up the spectrum of who you can talk to and that. And don't go the mandatory yet. Go the discretionary. There's more to get for the discretionary. It's less messy than others, and you've got a partner that is accredited to take care of the licensing.
all right.
Yeah, I
happy-
think
I'm
the
happy with
final question for me would be, when we started, you said, this is not about the money for me,
Yes.
right? And so that's a huge red flag. As an entrepreneur, it has to be about the
It
money.
has to be about the money.
It has to.
Yes.
You need to run a profitable, sustainable business model,
Yes.
right? And so if it's not about the money, or it's less about the money and more about the impact for you,
Thank you.
that's okay as well, but then it puts you into the bucket of a social entrepreneur.
Okay. Yeah. I
But
realize that.
Anto, even there, even if you are a social entrepreneur,
Yeah, it's
it
still
is not about the money into your pocket, but it has to be about the money. Because
yes.
in order for the impact of that business to continue and that business to continue making a difference, that business must make a lot of money so that it can give more. So it's always about the money.
yeah.
Yes.
Right?
I
Unless
totally
you're running
get
an
it.
NGO.
Yes,
Unless
yes.
you're running an NGO.
And I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think then your mindset has to be that, right? Is that I need to, and your business model canvas as well as your pitch deck, if you're looking for investors, should speak to that, right? I need to have a profitable, sustainable business model. And I think Dr. Malloy has given you enough information as a next step to make sure that it becomes a profitable, sustainable business model.
Yeah.
So that you don't find yourself dabbling in stuff
So
in
many
order to
things.
sustain yourself.
Spread too thin. Yes.
I submitted last year. I submitted proposals for drone training
Is it?
at Accuracy and that. I didn't even have a partner to speak to for those drone applications that I've done. So yeah, we will. in the course of until the next meeting and that, let's speak about those. You know, if you need assistance into how should this proposal look like, you know, and let's do that and get those proposals out, because that's the only thing that's going to get money. If you are in training, you are not going to get money from anyone else but the SETAs. So you're speaking with GEP and that, I can tell you now, waste of your time. They wanna fund business plans and marketing plans. They don't wanna fund someone to learn how to fly a drone.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you are talking about training anywhere and that, the SETAs are your go-to. No any other government department is. The SETAs were formed for only one reason: training. Accredit training and collect money to be able to train people. That's all.
Yeah, unless you go corporate.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, so this is what's happening. Right? You built this business, if you look at the cohorts that you have done, under the umbrella of Beyond For, right? And she's been doing the things that you should be doing.
Yes.
You know, the things that you should be doing, establishing relationships and doing all these things, right? You came in and she took you under her wing, and you didn't have to do those things that you should have been doing. So you focus on the training, right? So unfortunately, you know, may her soul rest in peace. She's no longer there. Now we are exposed.
Yes.
Now you're exposed. Yeah, you're exposed because now you need to do those things that she was doing for you, right? So which then brings a certain skills that you need to bring into the business, which is not training, but going out there and knocking on doors, right? Which is what you need to work on now, you know, pitch proposal, presentation, and all those things. So what Dr. Mloy has sort of outlined is the SETAs, but below that there are all the industries or the companies that are represented by those SETAs. So if you talk agri-SETA, it means there's farmers that you can talk to as well, right?
And farming things, Roger, like agri SA and there's those farming unions that you find that pour a lot of money, where farmers put money in those. And they've got a lot of money for programs. When farmers want to buy a tractor, they don't always go to the bank. They go to these associations and that. And if you go to this association and say, we would like, if every farmer can send, you say, can you find a program where each farmer can send 2 people or 1 person to come learn how to fly a drone, and they will live with a drone that they can use at their farms to spray the crops. You've got to be very innovative in those.
I've done that. I joined one group in Carltonville specifically because they also do farming there, lots of farming. The problem was their budget. I attended, I think it was just one seminar where we had your people from the agricultural sector in the government come in. And they were talking about your failed fires and all that. And they, like you were saying, empty promises again.
Yeah.
Because I even went through the legislature and I tore it piece by piece with them, right? And they promised, they were like, no, they took my emails, my contact details, all that. And from there, they never got back to me regarding
So the question therefore is, are all of them going to turn you down? You know, I doubt not all of them. So
that's part of the journey. That's part of being a founder. You're going to get a whole bunch of no's. So, but that should never stop you from knocking
you want one client, you submit 10 proposals.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, you need to have a ratio of saying, on average, I need to talk to 10.
Yes.
Because I know by to experience, 1 will say yes. 9 will say no.
Oh, I'll get a meeting with
1 will say yes, right? And if you want 2 clients, you need to talk to 20 because the ratio is 1:10, right? So you need to have that because 1 will definitely say no. The second one will say no. The third one will say no. But you know that if you keep pushing, 9th or the 10th one will say yes. Not everyone will say yes to you. But at the same time, not everyone will say no to you. Right? You just need to have that ratio going. So there's sitters, there is associations, and there's companies as well. You know, you can look at it from you're a black woman, there's a whole lot of BE points available to black women in technology, in droning, what you are doing. So all this, I need money to buy drones and all those things you find yourself into an enterprise development, right, for 6 months, whatever. And then they ask you, what do you want at the end? I want drones, right? It comes with training, it comes with mentorship, but also because you are in that space where they're dabbling in, they're able to, you know, give you contacts as well. And then they're able to fund you at the end, right? So that's another way of raising funding. You look like a smart, intelligent young woman. There's pitch competitions that you can, if you have like Anto was asking, if you have a brilliant pitch, there is no reason why you shouldn't. I mean, you are in a niche space.
She's in a very niche space.
You are in a niche space. Not a lot of people, not a lot of people are not playing in that space. You know, and you've got some programs that you have ran, skin in the game. You know what you're doing, you know what you're building. There's a huge opportunity. There's a need for these things. So pitch competitions. Perfect your pitch, 5 minutes of glory, you win 60,000.
Exactly.
You know? So yes, we tend to look at the traditional institutions, but there are other ways to raise funding.
Exactly.
That
I can give you runway,
you know,
for a couple of months while you wait for the sitters to come back to you.
Sitters, companies, you know, and all those things. So
the security parameter can give us some runway.
The security companies by themselves. They are labor
I've got
intensive.
2-3 security companies that I can send you to go speak with them and present that.
And in this case, there are also black security companies that you can talk to where there's not a whole lot of red tape and a whole lot of things. So, propose something to them, look at their budget, look at what you can offer with that budget and start building. Because once you get one security company, it opens doors for another. Because they don't want to be left behind.
Exactly.
So they want if one bites, the others will also want. And that's just one clientele. You can then talk to agri farmers. If one bites, there are others who are likely to buy. Events companies, people like Vuka, for instance, these guys who are shooting, production companies, ad agencies, So I got worried when you start saying sponsors. I'm like, are you an NGO? Because people who talk sponsors usually are NGOs. So I'm like, no, but there are a whole lot of other
to stand up and shake it. Shake sponsor out of it.
Yeah, like you leave the sponsor.
That's why I opted to say, okay, no, I rather dabble. Which is wrong in a way. Yeah. I rather dabble and deliver services so I can have money instead of being sponsor dependent. Do you understand? Yeah.
So sponsors out. There are a lot of opportunities for you, to make money in this space. The reason why the numbers are an issue for you is because your mindset is, I'm not doing this for money.
Yes.
And if you're not doing it for money, then it means money, the numbers are not important.
I think, perhaps it was the English. I should say, I am not motivated. Money is not a motivation for it.
And I think,
tell you this. It's not the English.
Yeah.
It's the mindset.
It's the mindset.
It's the mindset.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
So the thing with the mindset is that every time it comes out the way you see it. So you're very eloquent, and when it came out, it was very clear. So your is that you know what? Even if I was not making money, I would still do this.
Yes.
That's how you feel.
Yes, that's the
You understand? That's the
how I feel.
mindset.
So,
Right.
So yeah, and I think you know, the success of this thing, the sustainability of this thing, is going to rely on you making money.
Yes.
Right. So I think for me that's the main thing, to sort of look at your business model and say, how many cohorts do I need to have in order for me to cover the operations of LynkD?
So let me just get this straight. Are you suggesting, or you can correct me if I'm wrong, that it LynkD runs operationally throughout the year?
So
Is that what I'm hearing?
No, it should. I mean, if it's a full-time business, it should, right? So what I'm saying is, work out the budget
Okay.
to run LynkD full-time,
Okay.
right? With all the key people that you need, right? It might say the budget might be $500,000,
Yes.
as an example. Salaries, rental of laptops, whatever, you work it out. Advertising, budgeting, and all those things. So it might work out to $500,000, right? And then what you then need to then do is you need to then say, if I am to make $500,000 and beyond, how many cohorts do I need to run?
Yes.
Of how many people?
Of how many people? So we're assuming it's 20, for instance. So if it's 20, then how many of those cohorts do you need to run? And then
Where am I going to
the
get money
chase
for
is
those?
on. Yeah, the chase is on. To say, where am I going to get this 20 cohorts? And that becomes your target for the year, right? And you chase that because that's the numbers, right?
Yes.
If you make the numbers, you will have the impact.
100%. Yes.
Here is the deal.
But if you focus on making the impact and you don't chase the numbers,
Yeah.
you're not going to be
I'm
sustainable.
you're not going to have
I'm
the
not going to
impact.
be sustainable.
Yeah, you're not going to even have the impact at all.
Exactly.
So here's the thing for me. If you sit down this weekend
Yes.
that we are going, it's a long weekend.
It's a
It's
long
a
one.
very long
If
weekend.
you sit this long weekend
Yes.
and work out a pricing model of pricing model for security parameter and those, and you work that right and that, and by Monday you call me and say it's ready, I've got it here, I've got that, we can meet, look at that proposal, and by next week I can put you in front of the seat of a couple of security company CEOs, and you present the idea to them, and I can tell you they will buy it. So if you sit and you put that pricing this weekend and that, and how we're going to propose it to them, more than happy to put you in front of them and we go sit and talk to them about that.
I can definitely work with that. And one question with that, I wanted to ask, because when operating drones, you need what they call SIRA certificate.
Yes.
Do the security companies offer those, or would yeah? Yes.
They have it already.
Okay, so
And that's why I was
so,
saying,
yeah,
that's why I was saying
that's
security
why-
company, because when you go to security companies, remember, that's why they are allowed to put lights on their cars. That's why, because they've got the PCRA certificate already. So these are people that if you sit in front of them and you agree with each other that day, tomorrow the drones could be running, doing the work already. So that's where we want to go to.
Okay, definitely. Glad I.
Yeah, and if I can just make a recommendation, not to base that pricing on that NGO model.
Yeah.
Move away from that now.
All right.
Base the pricing on the actual model.
Yeah.
Right? On what it's actually going to cost.
True.
The pricing strategy that Dr. Malloy is asking for.
And the best
so
thing
shift.
to do,
You need to shift.
the best thing to do, what Anto is saying, go and find out how much does a security company charges for one guard,
All right.
right?
Yes.
How much do they charge for one guard? And then put 20% on top, because it's now no longer just one guard, it's now a pilot
Yes.
that is flying a machine. So it will be a little bit more expensive than a guard that the security company provides. But that would be a price. Remember, it's not there in the industry. So you're not going to get the guidance of how much it is. So you are benchmarking as it is. You are one that is setting up something that the industry might follow very soon. If you don't do it now, you hear very soon someone is doing it,
Yes.
and then you are crying. You are saying,
Definitely.
they
They
stole
stole
my
my
idea.
idea.
And people don't steal ideas.
Yes.
They don't.
They
You see,
don't.
I'm not in that sector, and that's why for free I can put it on the table for you and say, here is something that you can do.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
We should wrap it up.
Okay.
Questions? Are you good?
I think, no, I interrupted enough with my questions, so I'm pretty much sorted for now.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful for your time and your advice. Believe me, it was not taken lightly. So hopefully after this weekend, we'll have something very solid.
Awesome. So will you see you again sometime soon?
Yes.
She needs to be able to make money
Yeah.
so that
Yes.
she can start paying for sessions.
Make
Yes.
money.
You see?
Make money, honey.
Awesome.
We're gonna
Thank
make
you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, all the best.
You have a website where
Yes, I sent you a link. Yes,
But
that
just mention
is
it
that
for
is
the
LynkD's
listeners.
website. And yeah,
www.
LynkD.org.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
But it's a very special way you write it, right?
It's LYNKD.
Okay. Thank you so much.
.org. .co.za or .org.
.org. So you need
That's
to
where it
move
started.
away.
You see, that's where it started.
I was not going for an NGO, guys. It was the only domain available. When I was purchasing domains, it was the only the .co.
Africa?
Okay,
Africa.
.Africa I did not try.
Yeah.
But I don't think Bluehost has .Africa because
Afrihost has.
You see, it started
Go to
there.
Afrihost.
It
I'm
started
not
there.
using Bluehost. That's why.
After she took the name .org, the mindset.
Went to an NGO.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
and
much.
all the best.
Yeah. Thank
I really
you.
appreciate this.
All the best.